Hello, I'm Alan Torres. In this video, I will go over, in detail, the plans for Alan's Birthday Ultimate. Before going over the list of tournaments, I'd like to go over this year's point system. In order to make sure everything can be done over the summer, we will introduce an overarching elimination system this year, instead of the traditional point systems of previous years. Everyone will start Alan's Birthday Ultimate with 3 lives, and those who perform worst in each tournament, with the exact number decreasing over time, will all earn a strike, thus losing a life. Once you lose all 3 lives, you're eliminated from the birthday. This will continue until late August, when only 2 people are left for the final events. In addition, performing well throughout the summer will give you advantages in the final event, but more on that later. To compromise with the considerable number of our competing individual schedules, and to minimize the number of games played per tournament to ensure we get through all the tournaments while still achieving our goal of determining who gets first and who gets strikes for each tournament, we will use a unique style tournament bracket. I call it a reverse tournament bracket. After the first round, everyone will go to either the winners or the losers bracket. The winner's bracket is single elimination and will be played out normally, where the winner of each game advances to the next round until a single winner is determined. The loser's bracket, however, is the opposite. Instead, the loser of each game falls 1 round farther into the loser's bracket until the same number of people are left as strikes to be received. Since there is usually more than 1 person earning a strike in each tournament, the loser's bracket is split up into as many sub-brackets as there are strikes. In addition, to deal with the odd numbers of people and to minimize games played, since we have a lot of tournaments to get through, better seeds will often get buys or bonus safety games to play in. That said, everyone has a chance to both win a tournament or earn a strike, regardless of where they are seated. And in every bracket, you must lose at least twice to earn a strike. Also, once we get down to the Elite 8, all tournament brackets become double elimination instead of reverse bracket format. Now for the tournaments. The first tournament is the Hunger Games, which has already been explained in depth in the video 4 email. If you have not read that yet, then please do. The first 25% of the Hunger Games competitors to die, and anyone who doesn't participate in the Hunger Games, will then go to Tournament 1.5, Monopoly. The 6 people who perform worst in Monopoly will lose the first lives of the summer. The second tournament will be diving, the first contest ever held at my birthday, way back in 2012. The judges for diving will be determined by those who do best in the Hunger Games. Competitors will dive in order from worst in Monopoly to best in the Hunger Games, with everyone diving 3 times in total. The 6 competitors who get the worst scores will all lose a life. The third contest will be Wipe Out the Game, another tournament which hasn't appeared since the first year of competitions. Unlike most events at my birthday, players will compete in groups of 3 and 4 instead of 1v1. The bracket will be seeded based on the results from diving. The 6 who play the worst in this tournament will all lose a life. Smash Brothers has been a staple of Alan's birthday for as long as it's been around, and for the 4th tournament, we'll be doing one that hasn't appeared at Alan's birthday before, Super Smash Bros. 64, the first Super Smash Bros. Game ever to be released. The bracket will be seeded based on the results of Wipe Out the Game. The 5 players who do the worst in this tournament will all lose a life. Following this will be a chess tournament, another tournament which hasn't appeared at my birthday for a long time. This tournament will be seeded according to the results from Smash Bros. 64, with the higher seed getting the choice of color. The 5 who do worst in this tournament will all lose a life. The 6th contest will be a mile foot race, another one-time contest. The winner of the chess tournament will get to choose from a few predetermined courses for where this will take place, and players will line up according to how they finished in the chess tournament. The 5 who do worst in the foot race will all lose a life. From the year after the Mile Foot Race appeared is Magic the Gathering, which will be seeded based on results from the mile. The 4 who do worst in the Magic tournament will all lose a life. The next tournament is one that hasn't appeared since the same year as Magic, the Super Mario Galaxy 2 Speedrun. Similar to how it worked back then, players will compete at individual levels. Players will start with 4 lives. Unlike last time, there will be no time reward for collecting 1-ups. But players are still encouraged to do so, because if you get a game over before you finish the level, your time will be recorded as the furthest point you made it in the level. If you beat the level, your time will be the time it took for you to finish the level. A shorter time is always best. A long time is always better than a point, and a point farther in the level is better than a point at the beginning of a level. Exact numbers will vary depending on how many people are still alive, but based on how people do in round 1, they will either proceed to winners round 1, winners round 2, losers round 1, or losers round 2. Those who do best in winners round 1 go on to winners round 2. Those who do best in winners round 2 will go on to either winners round 3 or 4, and those who do best in winners round 3 go to winners round 4. And the winner of winners round 4 wins the tournament. Those who do worst in losers round 1, on the other hand, will drop to losers round 2, where the 4 who do the worst will all lose a life. The levels in question are as follows. Round 1, Sky Station Galaxy, Pee-wee Piranha's Temper Tantrum. Winners round 1, Massive Galaxy, Huge Trouble with Big Wigglers. Winners round 2, Throwback Galaxy, Return of the Womp King. Winners round 3, Bowser's Galaxy Generator, Bowser's Fortified Fortress. Winners round 4, Grandmaster Galaxy, The Ultimate Test. Losers round 1, Hightail Falls Galaxy, Hot Stepping Dash Pepper. Losers round 2, Boss Blitz Galaxy, Throwback Throwdown. Following the Galaxy tournament will be another new tournament, Super Smash Bros. Melee. This tournament will be seeded based on the results from Mario Galaxy 2, and the 4 who do the worst will all lose a life. The next 2 tournaments only appeared at Alan's Birthday Mini, a small gathering held a few days before my birthday last year, since Nat wasn't able to come. The first of these is Badminton. The Badminton tournament will be seeded according to the Melee results, and the 3 who do worst will lose a life. Following this will be the other tournament from Alan's Birthday Mini, Battleship. The Battleship tournament will be seeded based on the Badminton results, and the 3 who do the worst will all lose a life. After the Battleship tournament will be the only tournament added last year, the Super Mario Bros. Speedrun. Just like last year, if a player beats the game without getting a game over, they get whatever time they earned. If they get a game over, however, their score is recorded as how far they made it. The 3 who do worst in this contest will all lose a life. After Super Mario Bros. Is the first game on this list, excluding the Hunger Games, which has appeared twice before at my birthday. Mario Power Tennis. This tournament will be seeded based on the results from Super Mario Bros., and the 3 who do worst will all lose a life. Next is the first Smash Bros. Game to appear at my birthday, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. The Brawl tournament will be seeded based on the results from Mario Power Tennis. The 2 who do the worst in this tournament will both lose a life. Next is a tournament which has become a staple of my birthday in recent years, Mario Kart Wii. Players will compete in groups of 4 instead of 1v1 like most tournaments for this event, with cups of increasing difficulty over the course of the tournament. This tournament will be seeded based on the results of the Super Smash Bros. Brawl tournament. The 2 who do worst will both lose a life. Following this will be Mario Super Sluggers, a game which used to be a staple of my birthday, before being more or less replaced by Mario Kart in recent years, and a tournament that originated in the first year of my birthday competitions. This tournament will be seeded according to the results of the Mario Kart tournament, and the 2 who do worst will both lose a life. Next will be the Foosball tournament, another tournament that's appeared frequently at my birthday. After fading away from consistent appearance after year 3, it made its grand revival this last year. The Foosball tournament will be seeded according to the results of the Mario Super Sluggers tournament, and the two who do the worst will both lose a life. Next is the third most frequent tournament, tied with foosball, at my birthday, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. This tournament will be seeded based on the result from the previous tournament, and the one player who does the worst will lose a life. For the 19th tournament, we wanted to add a recent game that will fit in well at my birthday, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This speedrun will be played without DLC and will operate similar to the 2 Mario speedruns. Players will be allowed to play until they beat the game or game over 3 times, and on the third game over, the run will be over. Due to the open world nature of Breath of the Wild, the score upon your death will be calculated through a point system. Anytime you beat a main quest, you will earn 1 point, with an additional point being earned for starting the fight with Ganon in Hyrule Castle, and an additional point per phase of the final Ganon fight. Every divine beast that hasn't been freed adds a phase to the Ganon fight. Players will have to choose between the safer, slower option of freeing the beasts, or the faster, more dangerous option of heading straight to Ganon, or any other strategy they think will suit them. Players will be ranked by the number of points they've earned, and the time they were at when they reached that point will serve as a tiebreaker. In addition, beating Dark Beast Ganon will be considered equivalent to beating all 15 main quests, regardless of how many were actually completed. The one player who does the worst in the speedrun will lose a life. In order to balance the number of video games, the fourth to last tournament is the board game Go. Originating in ancient China, Go is possibly the game which requires the most skill of everything on this list. The Go games will be played 1v1 in a tournament, seeded according to the result of Breath of the Wild. The player who gets last in the tournament will lose a life. The third to last tournament will be the most common tournament in the history of my birthday, air hockey. First appearing at my first birthday competition, it has stayed with us through every year but one. The air hockey tournament will be seeded according to the results from Go. The player who gets last will lose a life. If this would result in just one player being alive, the one who would be eliminated will be allowed to continue with a penalty in the final tournament. And the penultimate tournament will be skipped, with bonuses going to the living competitor. The penultimate tournament will be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This will be seeded based on the results from air hockey. The player who gets last will earn a strike. If this would result in just one player left with lives, the one who would be eliminated will be allowed to continue with a penalty in the final tournament. The Ultimate Tournament is truly the only conceivable thing that could conclude such an ultimate version of my legendary birthday. A sprint distance triathlon. This triathlon starts with 750 meters of swimming, continues with 20 kilometers of biking, and finishes with a 5-kilometer run. Each of these 3 events are split into 10 sections. For each skip you have earned, you get to cut off one section from the event of your choice. Skips are obtained in 3 ways. Firstly, for each tournament where you advance farther than your triathlon opponent, you earn a skip. Secondly, you will earn a skip for every time you placed first overall in a tournament. Lastly, if you have more lives remaining than your opponent, then your total skips get multiplied by the difference. So if one competitor still has 2 lives, his skips are multiplied by 2. And if he still has all 3, his skips are multiplied by 3. Skips are capped at 29. Also, you must run the last 100 meters to Alan's house to conclude Alan's Birthday Ultimate, regardless of if you skip all of the running or not. Unless not all of the biking has been skipped, in which case that can end the race. The triathlon is the only contest besides the Hunger Games with a set date, taking place on my exact birthday, Saturday, August 24th. Everyone who doesn't qualify is still encouraged to come watch this finale. If you do not know how to play any of these games, then I highly suggest you learn how to before that tournament begins. Similarly to in previous years, there will be a monetary prize system for those who place in the top 15, with those doing best earning the most. Like usual, I will pay most, but I would like to request a $5 entrance fee into these competitions for all who participate to help add to this prize pool. We also want to continue the trend started by these videos and film as much of the competitions as possible for a compilation highlight film at the end of the summer. If anyone has capture devices for the applicable video games or video cameras to record the board games and athletic events they are willing to let us use, it would be greatly appreciated. In addition, if anyone has weapons or camping supplies they're willing to donate for the Hunger Games, those too would be appreciated. With that, Alan's Birthday Ultimate is just days away, and I hope you are all as excited as I am for my birthday. See you soon, and may the best man win.